Welcome to Film Study, an All American podcast with Lexi. I'm Lexi. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Rate the podcast 5 stars if you like. Send a thank you on YouTube if you'd like. All of those wonderfully amazing things. I have Kimberly back on the pod, which is great because it feels like just not yesterday. It does not feel like yesterday, but it feels like just a short time ago
Mhm.
we reviewed the season finale, and I think we both agreed that it was an interesting season finale for Homecoming. And now we're on season 2, episode 1. We need a resolution.
Mhm.
Yeah. So are you excited? Excited to get into it?
Oh, yes, for sure. I have so many thoughts.
Before we get into that, I know people do this at the end, but I want you to do it at the top because make sure that people know. Where can the people find you? On Twitter, on Instagram, on the socials, on Where the Buzz, etc.
So you can follow me at Twitter at Kimberly Love. On Instagram, you can follow me on Kimmy underscore from the block. And Facebook is just Kimberly Spivey. But yeah, I am a freelance entertainment writer for Where's the Buzz TV. So they do like the top shows, the movies. So yeah, you can follow us there too as well.
Nice, 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 nice. Cool. So we need a resolution. Uh, what were your overall thoughts? I don't think did NK write this one? She did.
She
She
did.
did.
Oh,
So
okay.
NK wrote this. Michael Schultz directed it. What were your thoughts on We Need a Resolution? If you could give it a rating, if you could give it a rating, that's what I did for All American. Um, out of 10, what would you rate it?
I would say 8, just because I felt, to me, in my opinion, I liked it much better than All American Home. I mean, All American, the premiere.
Hmm.
I just felt like it was so much mess, but also it kind of set up the storylines for the season, especially like with the whole Thea and Simone stuff, and even the Damon stuff with him and all that stuff that's going on that we can get into later. But yeah.
Right. Right. It's so funny because on All American, uh I like for the review for that show,
Mhm.
my friend Chanel and I reviewed it,
Mhm.
and we both had a 7.5. And before you said your answer, I was just like, I feel like I would have rated an 8. And then you said 8.
Yeah,
So
we see each
I'm
other.
just here
Yeah.
with my season premiere guest. We're on the same page. But I also feel like we're on the same page because like we talk to each other all the time about this show.
Yes, we literally do.
We have
Mhm.
we have fun. No, yeah, I think I would give it an 8. I really liked it because I think that they improved upon the issue that we were talking about, like with the season finale, that it
Mhm.
sort of felt sort of one note and even keeled. And it's so weird because then I feel like that's what sort of All American ended on.
Mhm.
Like it was still a good episode, but it was again like even keeled, even toned,
Mhm.
and that was the finale of Homecoming. And now that now that the premiere of Homecoming is like more, it's
Mhm.
giving. And I mean, I know a lot of people did not think that the season finale of All American gave, but I think it gave. So I think it was interesting that they're sort of passing the baton in that way. It's like, so now
Yes.
let's get into a groove where we can get both shows on the same footing. Let's have
Um,
both shows give equally like give us some tens, give us some tens. But this was a good episode.
mhm.
Um, with that being said, I gotta I gotta start off with this.
Oh my God,
uh, there's
I'm nervous.
I am not understanding the fact that just like they always want to start off with a montage at the top
Oh,
of Home. Like every
yeah.
other episode It's a montage of some memory, and it's not even like it's not montage of flashbacks that we got in All American, and we almost never get montages in All American, so that
Mm,
was a special little treat.
mm.
But for Homecoming, every other episode we finna see Simone and Damon struggling in the gym, struggling working out, and thinking about what's been happening.
They literally do. That is very true. Especially if they don't see each other. Like, like that one time they didn't see each other. It was like a whole montage. I
Right.
was like, I guess.
Literally in that like black and white filtered filter camera.
Oh my god.
And it's like, Simone, you don't gotta be thinking about it this hard. It just happened like a week. It's not even a bit a week ago
Yeah.
because it was Christmas Eve
Yeah.
and it's not even New
No.
Year's.
That got me. I was like, I guess.
But Simone was thinking it sends me every single time. It sends me every single time. But yeah, Simone was thinking about Christmas, and it's interesting because she was thinking about Jordan, but they showed quite a few clips of Layla as well, which I also thought was I didn't think that they were gonna do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, thinking about her experience over the Christmas break.
Mm,
And then as far as Damon, it was him thinking about just everything that happened with his adoption.
mm,
Finding out that JR's mom is also his mom, thinking that his adopted dad was his bio dad, but then finding out that JR's dad, Jesse, was also his dad as well.
yep.
So they're both they're both thinking through that, and that's where we start. Now, someone who Damon had been wondering what was going on with, Marcus. As we know, he ended the season, and it was a pretty. I think this storyline last season was it almost felt like it came out of nowhere. Like they dropped hints, but it was like they dropped hints in like the last, I want to say it was like probably like 3 episodes before the finale or 4 episodes before the finale.
Hmm.
And then like the last 2 episodes of the season, it was just like we're going to blow this up
We gotta go
over
find
alumni
Marcus.
weekend and over. Right, and over Homecoming, and so then it was just like we've seen him. It's been 6 weeks, so he's been in therapy for 6 weeks, and his therapist thinks that he's ready. He's been back on his meds, which praise God.
Hmm.
um there he's talking about sort of overcoming fear as we keep flashing to him and his therapist. And so basically his therapist is trying to encourage him to say like, you are ready because you've been doing this for 6 weeks, the medication is working, XYZ. And he's sort of on the fence about it, and I think he's on the fence about it up until this whole, we all have fear, it's what we do with that fear that matters, and his therapist telling him to take his own
Yeah.
advice, and then seeing that Damon might be entering the transfer portal,
Hmm.
which we'll get to later, but Damon might be entering the transfer portal to go to Hawkins, which this season, guys, I got the name, I know the name, I will no longer be calling it that one school.
I didn't even know the name. That name went right
Going
past me.
going to Hawkins. So at the end of and we'll get to the end in a second, but he that was his journey to sort of coming back and feeling okay enough to come back. So what did you think about that?
I like the storyline. I guess like you said, if he didn't see that Damon was like having trouble like making his decision, I feel like he would have stayed. I feel like we wouldn't have got him coming back. Like because he was just so unsure about everything.
Right.
So I just felt like he would have
Yeah.
just stayed, like just to make sure he was good, because he was, he just felt like
Right.
he wasn't really ready.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. I'm I the storyline was fine. We only got like 3 or so scenes with him, and
Mm,
I appreciate that, like the scenes that were flashing to him, because this is a slight critique that I had of the show last season, which is understandable. It was their first season, but there were some scenes that I felt like slowed down the storyline quite a bit. But this time, I felt like it, even though it was sort of disconnected from everybody else,
Mm,
when we flashed to him, it didn't necessarily slow the story down.
yeah.
If anything, it felt like a break from all of the drama happening
Mhm.
and like more of a, calmer demeanor. So I actually really appreciated that, and I really appreciated that they did not drag out this him not being on his meds, and like he
Mhm.
actually got help, and by the end of it he was good, because I think that's a question that we were all wondering, is like, all right, like how long are you gonna do this? How long are you gonna have him off his meds and not doing well? So I'm glad that
Mhm.
they resolved that pretty quickly.
Yes.
Someone who was thinking about him as she was adjusting to her new role as president. I love these transitions. Transitions are back, baby.
I can't.
So Amara's moving into her new office. That's I still have to say that's like one of the nicest offices I've ever seen.
It really is.
Um,
I actually liked it.
moving and I know, like the glass,
Mhm.
the floor to ceiling glass around those
Mhm.
walls, really cool. That overlook the student center. It's really awesome.
Mhm.
But she's moving into this place, and Simone comes to see her as she's moving in, and Simone starts to tell her about what she's going through as far as top six. And this is what I so enjoyed. She was just like, because Simone was getting down on herself, and we'll get to that. But Amara was just like, "You earned that spot, baby girl.
Mhm. Yeah, she really would tell you.
You earned it. And I'm like, come and defend your knees. Come and defend your knees.
Mhm. She was like, "Try again."
Period." So I love that she was just like, this is an absolutely ridiculous notion that, you sabotage Thea.
Mhm.
How I felt, if for people who listen to the All American Review, how I felt about felt about Simone in the All American episode is how I felt about Thea in this
Oh
episode.
my
And
god.
the last,
I'll just shake my head and keep
like,
quiet.
calm down. Of course Simone did not sabotage you. Like, that's stupid. And I'm glad that Amara gave it the energy that she ought to have given it, which is that, like, Thea is being ridiculous.
Mhm.
Um and anyway, quickly after that, she gets an update on Christmas break from Nate, who, because Simone and Keisha were dancing around the issue, but Nate is just like, Cam's ghosting Keisha, and Jordan is being a help.
That
I
was
was
the
like,
funniest part for me. I said, then Simone was like, he's not really messing around with nobody, but okay. And then Keisha was like, something she said.
literally. I did not think that she was going to call Jordan a help.
I was like, was he messing with people? But,
Like, now. And I don't know, and I guess, again, these are the things that just got me, because they sort of avoided naming the person last season up until Simone had that conversation with Keisha. But
hmm
that she was just like, okay, like, to your point, Simone was just like, okay, like, Jordan is not like messing around with people. Like, I don't even know. And she was finally like, I don't even know if he and Layla are dating, or blah 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 blah.
hmm
And then she decided to like invite them to family brunch to show everybody that they were okay. But yeah, it was just really that was a really interesting tidbit of tea from Nate, for sure.
hmm
But the rest of the time, we sort of see Amara dealing with the demands of being president, one of which includes, you know, actually seeing that, like, you can't do everything that you want to do, especially as it comes to how you want to engage with students, i.e., Damon,
hmm
and his decision, because she has things to answer to. So she has like sponsorships and donations and revenue to think
hmm
about, especially as it relates to the baseball team. So she and we'll get into this later, but she gave Damon some time to think about it, and she had to walk that back a little bit and change it to a shorter period of time, 48 hours, because of those considerations,
Mm.
as rudely reminded to her by Jesse, which
Ugh.
I cannot stand.
He over here with the
That
auntie
trashy
comment.
movie.
The auntie comment got me. He was like, "You want to be everybody great,
Literally,
good aunt, or whatever he said." I was like, "Oh my gosh."
he's so annoying. I'm like, oh, y'all are doubling down on him being trash. Like he's, and I don't even take this lightly because I do not like Billy Down, but like he's worse than Billy. He's worse than Billy. Um, hate Billy
Mm.
Down, and he's worse than Billy. Um,
He said
but what
worse
did
than
you think
Billy.
about Amara? What did you think about Amara and her storyline in this episode?
I liked it. I'm interested to see how she kind of balanced like being the auntie as she there was in what he said and being the principal, the like because
Right.
that's a difference in how you handle things and everything
Yeah.
like that. Because she has to kind of have a balance with that, and not everyone can't come to her with her problems. I feel, but like if it's concerning the school, she's gonna act like as a principal. I mean, I feel rather than just being there as a like the aunt to Simone or
Yeah.
everybody else.
1000%. 1000%. Um, this has actually been something that one of my one of the things I was most looking forward to in terms of this storyline was how she handles being being the president as well as being the auntie, like you were saying.
Mm,
Uh, and I love that she was confronted with that right away. Like
mm,
right away, she wanted to tell Damon like, "You got this time. You need to take all the time you need, X, Y, Z." But then realizing like, "Oh, I'm president," and I just want to continue to see her wrestle with these things. And I feel like I saw because of I think one of my things that I sort of kept repeating is I was like, I want to see her struggle with power.
yeah.
Um, and the way in which she told Damon, it wasn't crazy, it wasn't
Mm,
out of pocket or anything, but the way in which she told Damon that he had 48 hours was just more um stern in a way that wasn't necessarily had like the undertone of her warmth.
mm,
And that was like the first time I heard her talk that way
mm,
to like one of the students or like, some of the family, like, so I was really excited to see that, and I was just like, I need to see more of this Amara, and I need to see like specifically like more of this Amara and her struggling with that and her finding a balance between like still giving that warmth, still giving that love while also being sort of in her new role as president. So that was a long side on.
Oh, also too, I feel like it would be a cool scene of like if she is conflicted, go to Zeke. Is that his name? Zeke? Or what's Keisha's bad name?
Yes.
Like because he was principal not just too long ago, so like it could have that dynamic of them like she's asking for advice because she's unsure about a decision, and like he kind of helps her. Like this is what you
Yeah.
got to do because you the head of the school now. So like I would just like kind of, especially because if he's not in the season, it'd be kind of cool to see him pop up once, twice or something like that.
I need him to pop up a lot because I need that to eventually lead into their romance question mark.
Okay, you may still be guessing.
I need it.
Okay, we'll see.
It's my crack ship. Listen. Um
Okay.
and here's the thing. Speaking of it being my crack ship. One of the reasons it's my crack ship is because I've been so clear about this. Do not think Amar and Turner have chemistry. Zero chemistry. Zero chemistry. People that have the couple that has even less chemistry than that is Thea and Damon.
There.
And I just
Um,
need them to course correct. Thea was struggling with her arm, and we'll get into Simone's side of things, but essentially Thea was struggling with her arm the entire episode. So it'll be interesting seeing her and how she deals with the fact that she re-injured her arm, and the fact that she again is sort of hurt for the first time.
Mm,
So we saw it a little bit, and she was like very like rough and tough, like when she was trying to get back on the field. But now that she sort of made it worse with everything that happened with Simone, it'll be interesting to see her balance that. And I think that we got our first conversation between Jr. and Thea, and he was encouraging her a little bit, and encouraging her about
mm,
Damon, and saying that Damon's a good dude, and that he takes her seriously because like he wouldn't miss time with his family if he didn't. But yeah, I'm excited to see how she handles not being all about tennis. I think that's going to be a really interesting storyline for her. But I'm gonna need her to take it down 20,000
yeah,
notches.
she annoyed
Like,
me. Just her and the whole like when she was working out in the beginning and she got mad like the trainer like telling you like, hey, you need to do this, but she's getting upset. I'm like, he's telling you what to do. You're mad because you can't do this certain thing. Y'all both yelling at each other. I'm like,
right?
what are you accomplishing here? You want to get back on the tennis court, but you just keep arguing. I was like, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. And then when we get to what she almost did to Simone, almost hitting Simone with a tennis ball, I was just like, Thea, don't.
Yeah, real life, I would have hit you
Back
back.
of my hand. The back of my hand is right
I
here.
would have got the tennis ball and just hit it. I wouldn't have cared. I would have messed up the other arm then. If that was the
Literally.
case.
Simone is better than me.
Yeah, it would have been a full fight.
And I was like, Simone. Okay. When we'll get to that when we get, because I have some thoughts on that. But anyway, that was Thea. Um, another couple, a couple that I enjoy, Um, even though I would like to see sort of them start again to have more storylines outside of each
Mm,
other, I still do enjoy them as a couple. But Cam was tripping
oh,
on All American.
yes. He annoyed me so much. I was like, how do you have this much character development and then you come back on the show? And you're like, you're talking to my girl and da 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 and like getting mad at Spencer for being there. Like, come on. Like, I know you're upset, but still.
Yeah, it's a theme that we're gonna see, and again, we're gonna revisit it with Simone as well. But it's a theme that we're gonna see of these different characters who exist in the All American space on the flagship show, and they sort of have completely different, or slightly different, um, personalities
Mm,
than they do on Homecoming. And I do think it's like largely has to do with the fact that like the environment that they're in. Like what did Cam say
mm,
in the premiere episode of last season? He was just like, I'm trying to build a new reputation or whatever. So it makes sense,
mm.
but it's also just like like y'all gotta merge these two y'all gotta merge these two personalities and make them become one, because y'all can't be two different people on each
Hmm.
show. Which I don't think they are, but it's just like you gotta learn for Cam. It's like you gotta learn to take a chill pill when you're on All
But
American, and for
I was
Simone,
like, yeah, because I felt like, I forgot what episode that was, season four. I felt like Spencer and him were cool because they were doing like that game.
they
And then
were
all of a sudden now, like when you're at open night and then you're at the family brunch, you're just, it's a whole attitude with them. Like, I didn't understand that part.
literally it made zero. It's very confused. I was very confused. And here's the thing. So obviously, like he was still tripping, but essentially he was tripping because um, he didn't have no money. He lost his scholarship.
Where- that was so funny. He was riding that bike and Jordan and Spencer's
Right?
like,
There's a gif. I'm gonna see if I can find it, but there's a gif of Jordan looking at Cam riding the bike, and I don't think Michael has had like he has funny moments, but just like usually he's like doing
Mhm.
something, but I feel like this was one of Michael's funniest moments, just like sitting and like giving a hilarious facial expression. Like it's usually we give the facial expressions to like Sam or Spencer has a
Mhm.
couple, Layla has a couple, not me saying Sam and then like the character names. Uh, Liv, Spencer, Layla, like they're all great. But Michael came through as Jordan with one of the funny facial expressions. I'll have to like insert that into the video. Um, but yeah, it was really weird. And so as Cam is being weird, changing plans, etc., and Keisha doesn't know why this is. Nate, by the way, she was
Mhm.
hilarious with a little knife. I have to call out again, as she was talking to Cam. But again, Cam sort of just kept changing their plans. So Keisha started flirting with Spencer. And
They had too many scenes. I'm sorry. Somebody even said
uh,
they had
so
chemistry, and I was like, huh? Where?
you said it so I didn't have to, because I was like, when we got the scene in All American, I was just like, okay. Like, okay, whatever. And then when we got like another scene with them, like the solo scene of them with All American, I was just like, interesting. Okay, okay. But this is about Cam. We're good. We're
Yeah.
good. And then as we started to get more by the when we switched to Homecoming and when we got on the second scene of Spencer and Keisha in Homecoming, I was just like, oh no 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 no. No, 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 no.
Because he even got
Because
irritated.
in y'all listen, l- y'all know, like I am all about like the digging into the story, digging into the script, digging into the writing. And so I know that like this was intentional, like as much as I don't want it to be intentional, like this was intentional by the writers, because the writers are not gonna spend how many scenes do they have across the two shows? Five or
Mm-hmm.
six scenes. That's a lot of screen
Mm-hmm.
time. And I was like, I do not like that you are dedicating this screen time
To Keisha and Spencer.
to Spencer and Keisha.
I was like, I guess they're trying to test something, but for what?
They no, they were literally testing it out, and I was like, we don't need to test it
Mm-mm.
out. But go back to the drawing board. We don't need it to be tested out.
Especially the court scene. That got
No.
me. And even Spencer caught
The
on.
court, the court scene, and then the you know what got me? It was like the court scene combined with the him coming to her, like at the party, at the New Year's Eve party. Even though he was like helping Cam, um, we found out. I still, I was like, the writers are making Spencer be a little too smooth and a little too comfortable being smooth, as well as Keisha being a little too smooth and a little too comfortable being
Yeah,
smooth.
it was a lot. I was just like, I guess.
And I needed to stop right now. Like this, me and my siblings have this thing where we're just like, we'll just like we'll be laughing and then we'll deadpan and we'll be like, I actually need you to stop what you're doing. And like that's how I thought. I was like, huh, no, I actually need you to stop what you're doing right now.
Oh my goodness.
So anyway, but like we said, Spencer helped Cam in the end, and it looked like that respect and that cordial relationship was back near the end when he helped him.
Hmm.
And Cam was sort of finally honest about losing his scholarship. Which Keisha was a little upset about at first, but then they had a talk, and we'll get to the end in a
Hmm.
second. But that was Cam and Keisha. Any more thoughts? Any more thoughts on them besides let's just nip this Spencer and Keisha thing in the bud right away?
Yeah. They were cool. I like the ending part where they're like the New Year's thing that he set up that like dinner thing for her. That was really cute. Um, I just wish he had
Mhm.
kind of told her because blowing her off, like, yeah, you make your assumptions about, stuff that's going on because the person's not really talking to you. So, like, I just wish he kind of told her in the beginning because, like, you're in a relationship, so you would have thought, like, he I know like hiding it, but at least talk to her about it because she was from some type of way. She got left at the cafe.
Right.
Then you weren't at family brunch, and then you finally told her what's going on, and you could have said that for six, like she said, within the 6 weeks, but you never said nothing.
Yeah. 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 And this is something I said in the All American review, but I was just like, we could have done without Cam being in LA. I don't think there was a purpose of Cam being in LA. I feel like they could have done this
Hmm.
story just on Homecoming and it would have been fine. And but I'm glad they worked it out in the end, and the ending was cute, and we'll get to the ending in a
Hmm.
second. But yeah. Speaking of family brunch, speaking of family brunch, and Cam showing up late and shading Spencer. Um, like I said, Spencer invited or Spencer, Simone invited Spencer and Jordan to return the favor of them inviting her to Christmas Eve
Hmm.
party. Jordan got stuck in a QB meeting,
Did he?
which okay, and that's what I was wondering about because I'm thinking into like the I'm gonna come back to that when we talk about Simone and Spencer's talk. But so Spencer said that Jordan got stuck at a QB meeting. Damon invited Thea, which was super awkward. Cam and his ghosting continued. Spencer got the tea about Thea calling Simone a conniving
Hmm.
little,
Hmm.
and Damon's secret. Damon's secret was eventually revealed. The interesting thing about all of the tea that came out during family brunch is actually a ton of plot details were revealed, I feel like, in this one section of the family brunch.
Hmm.
Um, because we get Simone's reaction to Jordan not showing up. We get the tension between Thea and Simone, which Thea, I guess, was like, let me make my man a plate. And
I'm sorry. That made me laugh. When she said
I
that, I
cannot.
just like, I guess.
Like, who do you think you're? Please. When I get a man, he's gonna make me a plate. Okay.
I can't. I can't with you. I can't.
But yeah, it's just a ton of things happen. This was also interesting because we also found out that Spencer knows about Damon.
Exactly. So it was so confusing when Keisha was like, and maybe it's a little bit about Damon. He started laughing. So I was like, so y'all know about Damon too. So it was like, I guess.
I just thought it was honestly that was like a hidden bit of information that I was just like, this is highly relevant to the universe. Because I'm like, so Spencer knows about Damon, but he don't know about.
Exactly. That is, I don't understand that part.
And that was in right, and it was just like and that it was that whole conversation of no, it's because of the chopsticks, and then this is what I did appreciate, and this is why I think Homecoming did earn their little extra, like the half a point rating to an 8 because it would like did bring the drama when everybody was there. So there was actually a ton of stuff
Mm.
again that people's dynamics in the room were opposing, and we felt that tension in a lot of different ways between like Damon and Thea and Simone,
Mm.
between Keisha and Cam, Nate doing spilling the tea and everything. And then we got the seeds planted of Amara trying to give Damon the time that he needed when the secret was
Mm.
revealed that he was trying out for Hawkins or whatever. Uh, and then her sort of having to walk that back later. So,
Mm.
what did you think about that whole family brunch scene?
It was cool. The funny part for me was like everybody just standing there, like looking at the TV, and then that's when they announced
Right?
it. And then Thea was like, "What did she say?" She was like saying something like, I don't know what she said." And then Jr. was like, "You should have told her, man." And like she walked off, but you would have thought he would have walked with like to go after her, but he just stood there.
Yeah, he just stayed there like
I was like, what?
you were like, Thea, have some self respect and leave the relationship.
I was like, I guess, but I was like, even with the whole scene of her, like just with the food thing, I was like, that was a little much. Like, they're still friends,
It was.
like regardless of what you may feel towards Simone, like they're still gonna be friends.
Right. And not only like she's still friends with Damon, but it's just like everybody in this room is friends with her. So
Mm,
I don't know what you think you're trying to pull. And like you're literally at her aunt's house.
mm.
Do you think like listen, y'all call yourselves family, but there's actually flesh and blood in the room.
Oh,
You think Amara gonna play about her niece?
and you could
No.
tell the mood just
No. Her
changed.
niece slash daughter?
Oh my
Okay.
god. And the mood just changed. As soon as she walked in, they were like, oh, something she said about the neighborhood or something. I don't know. Did Keisha say there goes the
Right.
neighborhood or something? And then like everybody just looked, you
Right.
know, like they were just annoyed or they didn't know what to do. So I was just like, okay, I guess.
Right. Right. I guess. I guess. That's a good way to put it. Um but speaking of Damon's dilemma that got found out. Obviously, we already mentioned that he was practicing at Hawkins, struggling with the news about his parents, etc., etc., etc. Got this Christmas ritual. I thought it was really interesting that Jr. gave him this Christmas gift from their mom,
Mm,
and was sort of shocked that Damon didn't want to open it because it's been 6 weeks. I don't know.
a lot has changed.
This is like life changing news. He's literally like 18, 19 years old, and he just had this life changing news like twice. And he thought it was like, first of all, he thought it was you guys weren't brothers,
Mm,
and then found out that you were. Then thought his dad, uh, his adopted dad was his dad. Then found that that wasn't true. So it's like
yeah, it's a lot.
you can't be shocked that he's having a little reaction to the gift.
Yeah, he didn't even, he set that down. JR just looked at it like, you're not gonna open it? I'm like, no.
You're right. Like you're not gonna open it with like literally what is it like in the timeline of the show like 8 weeks ago she was like gaslighting
Mm,
him to like oh I don't know what you're talking about. What? That's like just two
yeah,
months.
I was like, I guess.
So that was interesting.
Mm.
That was interesting. Um, but yeah, he spent the Christmas break with Thea and didn't tell her.
I'm like, how you,
And then we got Thea being like, "I thought we were building something real here.
and she was like,
I thought we were building something
I
real
can't.
here."
She was holding, like he was holding, like, baby, I like, what did he say?
If he calls her baby one more time,
Yeah, he literally said that. And he was like, she was like, the phone had rung, and then she was like, I guess it's somebody more important than me. I'm like, it could be his
oh my
mom.
gosh,
What are you talking about?
literally, like I know his entire dad has like Alzheimer's.
Yeah,
Like, just
like,
calm all the way down. I'm tired of her. And I, this point last season, I was like, oh, protect Thea at all costs. And I'm like, let Thea get on my face. Get on my face.
get off the field.
Literally, get off the field. Get off the court. Like, leave. Um. So that was it. You know, again, he's struggling with his decision. Everybody's found out. And Jesse tries to go to JR and be like, talk to Damon. JR's like, talk to him yourself.
Yeah, Jay always not feeling that.
They have a little yeah, he was not. And as he, as he shouldn't. As he shouldn't. Um
Mm-mm.
Damon was really stressed after finding out that the deadline changed to 48 hours. He runs
Mm.
into Jordan, which is the first glimpse of Jordan that we get. Um and they start arguing. They start arguing about the fact that Damon is not dating Simone. And then they get into a fight about Damon not dating Simone.
That was the stupidest fight.
Um, the it was so dumb.
Like, you're mad because they're
Oh,
not
you
together.
just literally You just pretended to be into her when we were together, only like when she became available, then you go after her friend
It's
instead.
like I was like,
He did not sound like that, but he may as well
I'm
have.
like, you're mad because they're not together.
My favorite line was, "Do not pretend like you give a crap about Simone."
Why did
Like,
I?
why did he
Why I was like, if we were on a whole another network, they would have been like letting him do whatever he wants to really do in that that one part.
literally? It was really, and it's so strange because like they can like I guess it would have been hard to find like an adequate cuss word or whatever for that, but I was just like, it's not giving.
Mm-mm.
It's not giving. Don't act like you give a crap about Simone. Um but I did love Damon being like, don't talk about her like she's
Yeah,
property,
I
bro.
actually like that one too.
That's very
Yeah,
Damon. That the Damon in me was singing. The Damon in me was singing. Um and anyway, like I said, they get into a fight. Simone comes. Jordan walks past Simone. Simone doesn't even really turn to Jordan. She like, let me go check on my boo
yeah.
Damon.
What's wrong? Are you okay? Talk to me.
Literally, let me in Jeffrey's words, or not in Jeffrey's words. Let me go check on my boo Damon. That was for all of you who watched her live on the premiere night. Um, but yeah, Simone checks on Damon, and they have a talk. And that's the thing. She doesn't just go to check on Damon. She literally is just like, let me calm you down. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Like go on a full walk as they do, and they have a full conversation about oh, this is what happens when two guys have feelings for the same girl.
So I was like, so you
And
admitted
she
you
was just
fell
like,
for her.
exactly. And he's always admitted it. What did he say in the finale? What if things had been? You ever wonder if things had been different? Blah 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 blah.
Hmm.
So there's as Simone said, there's always something. There's always been something there between them.
Hmm.
And so anyway, but Simone tries to pretend, and she's like, not when everyone involved has moved on or whatever. So they talk about his
Hmm.
decision. Um, and Simone is just like, I'll be there as a support for you, but you should really talk to Thea. Um, Damon looks through the family album, and Jesse, the trash guy that he is, just makes it worse, which I think leads Damon to make the decision that he makes. Damon's story was giving a lot of drama. That's all I gotta say on it.
It really was.
It's giving a lot of drama.
It was. In a way, like I kind of guess, kind of sets up his character story this season, but I guess it also
Right,
too helps him try to figure out like if he is on the same team, how to balance that of being the coach's son and then trying to develop a relationship if he chooses to. Because right now he ain't trying to have that with him
right.
at all. He's like, I don't want you to.
And I would not either. Literally, like I'm not even thinking about you, bro.
Mm-mm, at all.
Which kind of was a lie because you are doing this to avoid.
You really were.
um. So that was that. And I can't believe my girl Simone was in the trenches. Like Damon was in the trenches, but Simone was in the trenches. Like she should be excited that she got top six. Um, but Coach Hines, we finally get a coach. We finally see a
She
coach.
irked me. I was like, you treat her.
She irked me too, but I'm like, at least she's present.
That
Coach Lonnie is MIA.
I was so annoyed with her.
Coach Lonnie needs to be fired. She ain't never there. So Coach Hines was really giving Simone a tough
Yeah.
time, and she was just like, "Oh, congratulations, you beat the 10th player," which is really weird because it's like we've never seen this sort of energy from anybody else other than Thea. Like the
Hmm.
whole rest of the team seems to have a good head on their shoulders, seems to be super supportive. So it was really interesting that like she was talking to Simone this way, and obviously we already mentioned that um she talks to Amara about it. She talks to Spencer about it after Spencer's just like, "Oh, you gonna tell me about Damon and Jordan?" She like, "You gonna tell me about Liz?" And you like, "Say less, say less. Let me help you with tennis. Let me stay in my lane.
Exactly.
Let me stay in my little athletic lane."
Exactly.
So so again, she's talking to Amara, talking to Spencer. Spencer helps, and he's just like, "All right, let me take some film of you." Has a whole clip. I'm like, Spencer, what did you,
Yeah, actually,
where did you find time to pack up?
I actually like their scenes together though. Like him helping her and them talking. Like I needed more of those. Like later on in the early like seasons of All American, so to have that kind of now is like
Yeah,
really nice.
yeah, I agree. I agree. And it was really interesting to see how he like jumped in to help her because I think Spencer helps people a lot. I don't know. I just feel like his helping manifested in a different, more healthy way in Homecoming. Um, and that kind of shocked me a little bit. No, it was just it was really interesting. It was really interesting how they had him help her. Um, yeah, so it's really good to see Spencer and Simone being friends and helping her. Um, Meanwhile, she also is just like she's still struggling a little bit. Also, she was distracted, I think, by Keisha being weird with Spencer. I hope. I don't know. I don't know. And just on edge the entire episode. So then she ends up playing Thea, who we admitted was tripping, throwing the ball at
Mm,
her. This is the conversation I want to I wanted to have. Thea throwing the ball at Simone. Back to that whole point about Cam sort of being different and where did the development go?
mm,
They have the writers on Homecoming, and I think this is intentional, so I'm not like coming for them. I really do think it's intentional to show like who she is in a different context in a different setting.
mm.
But they have not let Simone come at people
Yeah.
like how she comes at people in All American. And
Mm.
I mean, I'm just gonna say I think we saw it very clearly.
I'm like that energy should have been there. As soon as she threw that ball, it should have been on and popping.
where's the where's the leftovers here? I mean, where's the
I'm
here's my
like,
bag of leftovers?
hmm yeah. Especially throwing the
Give
ball,
the
that got me.
not the throwing the ball got me right. Well, that's the thing. I'm like, give the energy that this person deserves,
Mm. Yeah, the
and
energy
be the
wasn't
Simone
there.
who doesn't care, like you are on All American.
Mm.
So that's just it's always really interesting to me how they have her respond. And she was just like, um, you wanna play? Let's go, or whatever she said. But again, like I feel like if that had happened to Simone on All American, like Simone would be Simone would like toss the racket and like be ready to throw like to throw hands.
Literally.
Like
We just see somebody just fighting and we be like, huh?
right. So it's very interesting to me. So we already mentioned that Thea re-injured her hand, and Simone got another talking to from Coach Hines, which didn't make it any better. Um,
Yeah, that got on my
yeah.
nerves.
So it was really interesting to watch that happen, and the coach was just like, "You were barely beating um someone who's
And yeah,
injured,"
she
and blah 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 blah.
and she was like, yeah, when some Thea gets is back on the court, she's taking your sixth spot. I was like, who says that to like the person that you're like
It was
like this
yeah yeah.
like I was annoyed like with her whole situation. I was like, why we got this lady on here? Like, give me Coach Lonnie. I'd rather have Coach Lonnie.
No, legit. You were just like, I just miss the days when Coach Lonnie was absent and we didn't have any
Yeah,
coach.
nobody was there to tell me nothing.
It was very strange, and it was very weird to hear her talk like that to um a player, and she tried to sort of play it off as, we're in HBCU and we expect excellence, but it was, I don't know, it felt very personal and yeah, just
Mm,
very strange. So I did not appreciate it at all. Um
mm-mm.
And it's just like that's your so you're demoralizing your talent right now. And as someone who works in talent development and um, diversity and equity and inclusion, that just rubbed me the wrong way. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so that was that. The last person that she talked to about her struggles with tennis, like we said, she talked to Amara and Spencer, a little bit with Damon, um, but then she also talked to Jordan. And here is a conversation that fans have been begging for. Jamone fans in particular have been begging for the
They
moment
have?
of closure.
Oh.
Yeah, the ones that I've talked to.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, let me clarify. Let me clarify that point. The Jamone stands who have the Jamone fans who have gone on to greener pastures with the new ships, right? Who have accepted
Mm-hmm.
that Jamone is likely done,
Mm-hmm.
but still wanted that moment of closure. Like they've accepted the storyline, they don't think they're coming back, but they still were a fan of the relationship, so they wanted to see the closure. So not the fans who were just like exes to lovers, not those fans, but the other ones. So the exes to friends, as I tweeted last night, exes
Yeah.
to friends. We love exes to friends.
Yeah. I was trying to think of some show that actually had exes be friends that were on two different shows. I can't even think of a show like that. Oh, no. Can't even think.
Yeah, I don't.
There's not that many shows like that.
Yeah, Jordan talks to Simone, and he's just like, I hate, the fact that things are awkward between us because we were friends. And here's the thing: I think that the writers at first tried to embellish the story a little bit about
Mm-hmm.
how Jordan and Simone came about, and I don't think it's like we don't gotta lie. We don't gotta lie.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, we've forgiven and forgotten. Like it's water on the bridge. It's who cares, but we don't gotta lie about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I'm glad, and that was more for like the beginning of Homecoming and when they did that little intro and talked about Jordan Simone. Um, so I really
Mm-hmm.
appreciated that now that I feel like because they did this closure thing, the writers are more comfortable, and to that extent, the characters are more comfortable because they're out of this relationship, calling what they're calling it what it was, calling it what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Simone saying, well, we were never really friends, we were more like a one night stand that turned into something more. And I was just like, I don't know, that to me as a viewer was refreshing, because it felt like they're always sort of trying to gloss over the story and pretty it up. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it needed to be prettied up. I think that they were fine the way that they were. Like they were cute. They were cute, like what they developed. And she and Jordan had a relationship that I think, again, I think their circumstances taught them a lot about
Mm-hmm.
life, and it was cute for the time being. Um, so again, I was just really glad to see Simone feel comfortable enough to like call the beginning of their relationship what it was. But and then Jordan sort of accepting that, and he was just like, okay, well, until we can get back to being friends, I'm happy to be a substitute
Mm-hmm.
for the real thing. And so that was really cute. Um, and he encouraged her that she can't feel bad about the circumstances that led her to getting her shot. Um, Side note on this: the writers taking the opportunity to like be like they did this when Jordan was on Homecoming the last season too, but Spencer being like, I had to watch film on myself, and then Jordan being like, well, when I took Wade's spot, like, okay, thank you. Like, we don't need to. You can just
Mm-hmm.
give her the advice. You can just give her the advice. Um, but that was sending me. But it was really cute that he encouraged her, and then they had their closure. She was just like, my New Year's wish is for you to be happy, whatever that looks like, whoever that's with, and whoever that is with. So what did you think about that?
I like the closure talk. I feel like they needed that just so they can. But I just feel like in the conversation, I feel like the anger that she had in all AA, I feel like she should have directed that towards him in that moment, maybe if they
Yeah,
really want to have like a real big talk. But I felt like with the talk, it was good what it was. Like it didn't need to be more than what it was. Like just kind of close that chapter, be friends, like as she said, I want you to be happy, and then he was like, I want the exact same thing for you. Like
right. Yeah,
that's.
yeah, yeah. No, that's a good point. And like I said, I like the conversation. I like the fact again, like that they had closure because it was, regardless of all of the context and everything, it was pretty, I think, jarring for the audience to see if they if they weren't paying close attention. And so I love that they got this moment of closure finally to this relationship and gave it its just due. Gave it its just due.
I felt they're always gonna love each other because that was like in a
Yeah,
way his first love. So there's always gonna
yeah,
be love for each other regardless, just
for
because they're
sure.
not together. But at the same time, I just don't think like they will get back together. But
Right, right. Absolutely your first love. And I think I said this earlier too, is just like it's so normal not to end up with your first love. And that's okay. That's okay. You're not always gonna end up with the people that you were with in high school. Um now again, there's pretty words, but it remains to be seen if the whoever that was with is gonna be gonna be still there.
the record
We will
producer, I'm playing.
we'll see. We'll see. Again,
Mm,
the streets are saying the streets are saying we might get Layla on Homecoming. So we'll see if that second part of what Simone said is true.
why? I can't. I don't understand. It irks me.
To that point, like she did not have the energy for Jordan that she displayed in All American towards Layla. So that it'll be interesting to see. That's all I gotta say. The ending. This was a really cute montage of Cam and Keisha. Like I said, with the help of Spencer, we already mentioned that.
Mm.
Um, Thea and Damon. The only thing I enjoyed about that was her being her being like, some people are worth losing sleep over because I thought of Frozen. Some people are worth melting over. It was cute. Um, Amara gets to notice that Damon entered the transfer portal. Simone and Rome. We don't know his name yet, but Simone and Rome getting their little New Year's kiss on and the transition between the couples. I was just like, I can
Mm.
do Cam and Keisha, I can do Simone and Rome. Like, Simone, get it, girl. I'm here for your single. We're in your single era. Yes. It is it was especially satisfying after seeing they did a parallel between her looking at the room in All American and 501 and her sort of that the finality of that
Mm.
and her realizing that like high school was over and it was a transition point for her
Mm.
to her looking across the party and being at home
Mm.
being back at Bringston and then having this new I don't know if there's going to be anything serious but it is a new love interest and potentially and just something fun and flirty and so I really enjoyed that, and I was here for it. It was a
Yeah,
it was a good kiss. It was a
it
good kiss.
was. I like
And
the
then
JR
yeah,
Nathaniel thing when they were both
right,
drinking
and
that.
Jr.
They both
Yeah,
was like
Jr.
Happy
and
New Year and they
Nate
drunk the.
toasting. Really, so cute, so
Mm.
cute. I could have done without the end Damon, but that's nearly. um, and then Marcus tells Amara that he's ready to come back. So that was the end, and it was scored beautifully by Alessia Cara. Alessia Cara is one of my favorite artists,
Mm.
and Best Days is one of my favorite songs. So I was shook when it came on, and that moment itself, like, despite the jokes I made about some of the couples, whatever, but the
Mm.
the moment itself was I felt like a cinematic moment, and I really appreciated that, like how it ended with the transitions and going from
Mm.
one scene to another between
Mm.
everybody.
I'm excited for the season.
Thanks for listening to this review of the All American Homecoming season premiere, and stay tuned for our predictions for episode 2.